Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, distinguished colleagues and delegates. I call to order the 1776 plenary meeting of the Conference on Disarmament. Thank you also for participating all in the meeting this afternoon. We shall continue then with the high-level segment of 2026 of the Conference on Disarmament. We have the honor to have this afternoon His Excellency Mr. António Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, who will share with us his views about our duties here in the conference and also from his position as the head of the organizations. So, it is my pleasure and my honor, Mr. Secretary General, to extend a warm welcome to you and invite you to the rostrooms for sharing with us and making your statement before the Conference on Disarmament for this high-level segment.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. We are living through a chaotic period of change. Fundamental principles of international law are being brazenly violated. The international order that defined security relations for nearly 80 decades is shifting rapidly. The reckless use of force in many regions is fomenting mistrust, and this in turn is providing fuel for new arms races. Indeed, the United Nations found last year that global military spending has soared to $2.7 trillion. That is 13 times more than all development aid and equivalent to the entire gross domestic product of Africa. In troubled times, frightened populations might easily find comfort in tough talk. This is not, however, the path towards true or lasting security. Disarmament is not a luxury to be enjoyed only in times of peace. It is a means for preventing war, restoring and building trust, and saving lives. On the other hand, disarmament upholds the principles of humanity, prevents global annihilation, and it is not a utopian vision, it is a toolbox for pragmatic realists. Inside, it contains many types of measures: reductions and elimination, prohibitions, limitations, regulations, transparency, confidence building. When backed by legal rules and effective verification, these tools can build stronger and more durable security than any state can achieve through the strength of arms alone. Just over 2 weeks ago, we witnessed the demise of the last bilateral strategic arms control agreement. I appreciate the commitment expressed by the Russian Federation and the United States to the continued pursuit of binding arms controls agreements. Nuclear arms control has proven value. It has prevented catastrophe, built stable relations, halted the arms race, and significantly brought down arsenals. Moving forward, we need to create a renewed international security architecture. This needs to be based on sober analysis of the international situation and grounded in understanding of the benefits of cooperation and the risks of escalation. Excellencies, this conference continues to have potential to play a crucial role in the building of a safe and secure future for all. Last year, you carried out some of the most extensive deliberations this body has seen in decades. The lack of agreement on reports was regrettable, but the depth of engagement demonstrated the potential of this forum. I urge you to bring the Conference on Disarmament back to fulfilling its mandate as a negotiating body. Use the momentum of UN80 to revitalise the disarmament machinery, and the world needs you to make progress. Your priorities remain urgent imperatives, and seizing the nuclear arms race is essential. Preventing nuclear war and an arms race in outer space is also fundamental, and ultimately, we need to look into the possibility one day of total elimination of nuclear weapons. Excellencies, I appeal to you not to avoid tough discussions. Use every opportunity for engagement to move your agenda forward. Build new understandings on emerging challenges. Pursue practical steps to remove technical barriers to agreement. And I wish you every success in your year ahead. Thank you very much.
Je vous remercie très sincèrement au nom des membres de la conférence de désarmement, Monsieur le Secrétaire général, pour votre déclaration de cet après-midi, votre appel pour que la conférence remplisse son mandat comme un élément central, fondamental dans le système des Nations Unies pour la promotion de la paix et de la sécurité. Encore une fois, nous sommes très honorés de vous recevoir. Si vous permettez, vos excellences, chers collègues, je vais suspendre la séance pour un moment, le temps que Monsieur le Secrétaire général soit escorté. Merci beaucoup encore une fois.
Merci infiniment.
La séance est suspendue pour quelques instants. Vos Excellences, distingués délégués, nous allons reprendre donc notre segment de haut niveau pour cet après-midi avec les débats qui y sont attachés. Et à cet effet, j'invite Son Excellence, M. Kazem Gari Babadi, ministre des Affaires étrangères adjoint en charge des questions juridiques et internationales au ministère des Affaires étrangères de la République islamique d'Iran. Monsieur Gari Babadi, vous avez la parole.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Mr. President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to address the high-level segment of the Conference on Disarmament on behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran. We convene at a time when international peace and security face mounting and complex challenges. Armed conflicts persist across regions, occupation and heinous crimes in the Middle East endure, and the fundamental principles of the Charter of the United Nations and international law are too often disregarded and violated. The erosion of multilateralism and the rise of reckless unilateral behavior have further deepened mistrust among states, contributing to a renewed and dangerous cycle of arms competition, including in the nuclear domain. The persistence of nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction constitutes a perilous threat to humanity, to global stability, and to the very foundations of international law. Nuclear arsenals, instead of being dismantled, remain entrenched in the security doctrines of certain states. This contradiction undermines the moral and legal architecture of the global non-proliferation regime. Nuclear weapons remain the gravest danger that civilizations face. Their use, intentional or accidental, would have catastrophic humanitarian and environmental consequences that no nation, no people, and no generation can afford to endure. It is therefore incumbent upon this conference and the broader international community to recommit with urgency and resolve to the complete, irreversible, and verifiable elimination of all nuclear weapons. Equally concerning is the accelerating militarization of outer space. The characterization of outer space as a potential battlefield by certain states, alongside initiatives that envisage new layers of strategic defense, risks transforming a domain that is the common heritage of humankind into another arena of confrontation. the misuse of space technologies in ways that infringe upon the sovereignty of states further compounds these challenges. Preserving outer space exclusively for peaceful purposes is a shared responsibility. In this context, the role of multilateral disarmament mechanisms, particularly the Conference on Disarmament, as the sole multilateral negotiating forum on disarmament, is indispensable. Revitalizing its negotiating mandate and overcoming long-standing deadlock are urgent imperatives if we are to advance toward a world free of nuclear weapons and prevent the weaponization of outer space. Ladies and gentlemen, the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons constitutes the cornerstone of global non-proliferation and disarmament efforts. The Islamic Republic of Iran has long upheld its obligations under the NPT and remains steadfast in its commitment to the mutual objectives enshrined therein. As affirmed earlier this week in Geneva, Iran's right to peaceful nuclear energy is inherent, non-negotiable, and legally binding under international law. This right cannot be arbitrarily suspended or denied. Iran reaffirms unequivocally that it does not possess, has not sought, and will never seek nuclear weapons. Our nuclear program is strictly peaceful, guided by law and policy that rejects weapons of mass destruction. This position is rooted not only in our treaty obligations, but in deeply held ethical and religious principles that view nuclear arms as incompatible with the security and dignity of all peoples. Mr. President, meaningful progress in disarmament and non-proliferation can only be achieved through mutual, balanced, and legally binding commitments. It is neither fair nor sustainable for some states to demand restrictions or actions from others while failing to fulfill their own obligations, particularly regarding disarmament under Article 6 of the NPT. This double standard erodes confidence in the international framework and fuels mistrust among nations. We call upon the nuclear weapon states to honor their disarmament commitments without delay and to engage constructively in negotiations toward a comprehensive nuclear weapons convention and legally binding security assurances for non-nuclear weapon states. The Islamic Republic of Iran remains committed to diplomacy and dialogue as the most effective path toward de-escalation and sustainable security. Recent diplomatic engagement here in Geneva, which will continue this Thursday, demonstrate that a new window of opportunity exists for negotiations to address differences and build confidence, provided that they uphold mutual respect, equitable treatment, and non-selective application of international norms. We emphasize that any sustainable and credible negotiation must respect the legitimate rights of all states under international law and deliver tangible security benefits without coercion, unilateral demands, or threats of force. At the same time, let me be clear. While Iran chooses diplomacy, we are fully prepared to defend our sovereignty, territorial integrity, and people. As demonstrated in our response to the aggression of June 2025, we will exercise our inherent right to self-defense under the Charter of the United Nations if necessary. We call upon all nations committed to peace and justice to take meaningful steps to prevent further escalation. The consequences of any renewed aggression wouldn't remain confined to one country, and responsibility would rest with those who initiate or support such actions. Excellencies, Iran has consistently called for the establishment of a zone free of nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East since 1974, a vision that has yet to be realized due to persistent obstacles and selective enforcement of international norms. All parties must be held equally accountable to their obligations. The continued existence of weapons of mass destruction in the possession of the Israeli regime and its recurrent nuclear rhetoric and threats remain a source of grave concern. Achieving such a zone requires adherence to the NPT and the placement of all nuclear facilities in the region under comprehensive safeguards. In closing, the dire threats of nuclear proliferation and the proliferation of other weapons of mass destruction demand our collective leadership, creativity, and a steadfast commitment to the principles of justice, equality, and shared security. Iran stands ready to work with all member states to strengthen the international disarmament architecture, to revitalize multilateral negotiations, and to realize the noble aspiration of a world free from a scourge of nuclear weapons. Peace cannot be sustained through coercion, pressure, or threats. It is founded on dialogue, mutual respect, respect for international law, and genuine multilateral engagement. We therefore reaffirm our shared responsibility to strengthen multilateralism, renew our commitment to the Charter of the United Nations, and advance with determination and good faith toward a safer, more secure world for all. I thank you.
I thank the Deputy Foreign Minister for Legal and International Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran. We will now hear a pre-recorded video message from His Excellency Mr. Vijita Herald, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism of Sri Lanka.
Madam Secretary General of the Conference on Disarmament, Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I would like to begin by offering my sincere congratulations to Her Excellency Omar Schneeber, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Morocco, on assuming the presidency of